Oh, what a difference a year makes. How you guys doing? I'm Sean. Sean in Alaska. It is great to see a ton of familiar faces here and new faces, which I really like too. I have no idea how the audio is. I have no idea how the video is. So if you guys would let me know before I get too deep into this, I would greatly appreciate it. And if we cut out, this is the first time I've done this again this year, so we could have issues. I planned on doing this from the cabin, but I still have to do a couple of things in there. So New Year's Day, I'll probably go live from inside the cabin itself. Good, 5x5, awesome. Let me jump back up to the top here and say hello to everybody that I can. That's kind of my thing. If you haven't been to one of my lives before, or if it's been a while and you might have forgotten, I like to say hello to everybody. And I like to definitely answer every question that I possibly can. If I miss your question, ask it again, put it in caps, scream and yell at me, jump up and down. I do not mean to intentionally miss your question. So let me jump up here real fast up to the top. Lone Wolf, aka Fat Man, good to see you, brother. Merry Christmas to you. JD from SC, awesome to see you. I hope you and Rhonda had an incredible Christmas. I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Scrolling on down here, Charles and Annalyn live from the Philippines. Good to see you guys. Awesome. You can make it, Scotty. Scotty's Backyard Barbecue. Be sure to share out your channel, my brother. You were telling me again and again, haha, you're so cold. And now who's cold, Scotty? Because right now, at the time of this live broadcast, it is 15 degrees above zero. And we don't look like we're going to go below zero again for the next foreseeable future, at least 7 to 10 days. And I'm pretty excited about that. Who else do we have here? Jolie. I don't know if you can see it now or what. Maybe you'll join when dinner's over. But Merry Christmas to you and to the kids. Hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful time. Scrolling down through here. Rebel Canners, good to see you. Genova, glad you can make it. Merry Christmas. Kristen Grounds, good to see you. I hope you and Steve had a wonderful Christmas. Awesome, awesome to have you here. Christine Cortez, welcome and Merry Christmas to you. Bobby Lee, Merry Christmas to you as well. You guys had some wind up in your part of Alaska. Holy smokes. Marion, good to see you. Merry Christmas to you. David Evans, glad you could make it, my friend. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Granny Lana, welcome and Merry Christmas. Bill at the Lone Moose, Merry Christmas. 56 degrees in South Texas at the start of my live stream. Big Bear Prepper, good to see you, my friend. Glad you could make it as well. And then I'm down to where I just started, and everybody told me that the sound was good and everything looked like it was going great. Chris Richard, glad you can make it. Audio and video fine, very cool. Jillian Templeton, who is in the middle of her summer in New Zealand. Congratulations on your new home. Glad that you got moved in. I hope it's wonderful, and I hope everything's going great for you. Jillian made me some just incredible stuff to keep me warm this winter and mailed it to me. Alan, I'm sipping chocolate raspberry coffee right now in my brand new Christmas coffee mug that my daughter Ashley got me. Right, and on the back of the mug it says, like father, like daughter, oh crap. Karen, Merry Christmas, glad you could make it. Alaska for the young, Granny. I'm not too young, I'm 60 years old. I love it though, it's just fantastic. Vincenza, Merry Christmas to you, my friend, glad you could make it. From Milton Keyes, England. Colina, Merry Christmas. Awesome. Granny Lana's in Utah. Gary Espinoza, Merry Christmas from Uruguay. Very cool. Merry Christmas to you as well. You guys shout out where you're from. Chat amongst yourself if you'd like to. But if you've got a question for me, by all means, leave it in the chat. And if I don't get to it right away, give me a couple of seconds, kind of watch where I'm reading there. And I definitely will get to it. But if you think I missed it, do me a favor and go ahead and ask it again. Lone Wolf, aka Fat Man, had some comments up above, and he was asking about the insulation for the floor. I'm working on insulation in the cabin right now. That's where I'm at. Just about got the walls completely done. I'll be finishing those up probably tomorrow, and then it'll be ceiling time. And once I get the ceiling insulated in, it'll be warmer, a lot warmer inside that cabin. I do have a doorknob and a lock on it, though. I installed the doorknob and the lock today, so very, very cool. I can no more screwdriver and peg through the doorknob. I can actually walk up and turn it and open and close it. Super, super cool. A from Kentucky, Deborah, Merry Christmas to you as well. Oh, you're 62 in February, you'll be 63. See? Yeah, it's not for the young. Alaska's for whoever wants to be here. Firefly Farm, good you can make it. Your daughter, your daughter got you a Donald Trump mug a few years ago for Christmas. I like coffee mugs because there's some crazy ones out there that you can get. When am I hoping to move in? Marion Brown asked. And then I'll get back to Fat Man's question earlier because I kind of typed it in the chat on the side. So that's a reoccurring question, and the date just keeps moving, and it's not moving because I couldn't move in, because honestly, once I have the insulation in the ceiling and I get the vapor barrier hung up, I could move in. But I want to get as much done inside as I can before I actually make that move. And the reason for that is because I know that once I move in there, it's going to be a lot harder to work in there and live in there at the same time. But I do plan on being in there before spring hits. I should be in good shape to get that done. And then back to the question on that Fat Man had asked about insulating underneath the floor. I'm going to wait for spring for that, because at the snow level right now, I mean, you guys, if you've been watching the channel, you know that cabin's probably about 3 feet off the ground. The snow is almost 3 feet off the ground right now. So I don't feel like digging through the snow to get there. I could do that in warm weather. Oh, and I should probably start doing this too. See, I got to learn how to use this program all over again. Chris Richards, welcome and Merry Christmas. Sean, the roof will be metal, shingle, or something else? The roof will be metal. That is my go-to for the roof, and that's because A, I love the way that it sheds snow, especially with that pitch of a roof, and B, I love the sound of rain on a metal roof. It's just incredible. So yes, it will be metal. Northwest Ohio finally above zero, and the wind has quit blowing. Awesome, man! You guys got just brutalized. I live in Alaska. I was looking at your forecast, and I was cold. I was like, wow, just awesome, awesome. Canadian Jerry, Merry Christmas, my brother. Good to see you. Hope you and your family had a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. Hope everybody out there did. What else did I have? Questions about insulation inside. Also from Lone Wolf asking about Reflexic. I'm not sold on Reflexic. I know a lot of people who swear by it, and a lot of people who use it in every one of their builds, but you can't convince me that 1/8 of an inch has any R factor to it whatsoever. And that's my big thing with it. So I will not be using it probably in this build at all. Uh-oh, generator, come on, generator, keep going. If I lose the generator, I can still go. I'll just have to flip some stuff around here, and we'll have to go off a camera here in a minute. Oh, I hate when it does that. Give me just a second here. If we lose the signal, I will be right back. I just need to check something on the generator. Okay, we're back. The generator's not a fan of the cold weather. Not a fan of the cold weather at all. Oh. JD, do I have a standing seam metal supplier up here? Yes, we do. And actually, I got sent some information on a guy that does it locally, and I'll probably give him a call and see if he wants to come up and do it. I may not actually install the roof myself. Michigan Daffodil. I would not have been late, but my alert said 10 p.m. I did kind of start like right on the cusp of. You're not that late. We just started. Have I picked out a wood stove yet? And when will I install it? I know what I want for a wood stove, and I haven't been able to find a used version of that yet. So I don't know that I'll actually have the wood stove installed this winter. But I will just install a vented propane stove that will eliminate the moisture, because it'll be a vented stove. It'll be heating the air as opposed to heating the air around it, as opposed to heating like these heaters that create a whole bunch of ice and moisture on them. So I don't know that I'll get the wood stove this winter unless I run across a sweet deal on one. RoboCanner says, my parents used bathroom paneling in our kitchen. It was easy to wipe off and easier to keep clean than painted sheetrock. I'm doing the same in my tiny house kitchen. That was the other question was, so am I going to use plywood, sheetrock? What am I going to use for the wall material, wall covering material? I'd like it to be wood throughout most of the inside of the cabin. Obviously, though, the kitchen, I want a cleanable surface. So I'll play around and see what I'm going to do with that. If I sheetrock anything, I probably will sheetrock the kitchen. Just because it'll be an easy cleanable surface for me to use. And then For the bathroom, I might put the green board back behind the shower because of, you know, the moisture factor. But that would be the only place I would do sheetrock in there. And then I'm thinking I might pick up some cedar fence posts and do the entire inside of the bathroom in cedar, because cedar and water don't really have a problem, and I love that smell. So that would work out really, really well. I could do a multi-fuel stove, Julian. I could get a combination wood coals burning stove up here, and I could get coal up here as well. You can actually just go down to the beach and pick it up off the beach. You can harvest all the coal you want. But I live in the middle of a forest, and a lot of these trees on my property and local properties all around me are going to have to come down because of the bark beetle infestation. They're dying. So a good, efficient wood stove would be the cheapest route for me to go long term for consistent heat. And honestly speaking, I'm only going to be using that maybe 6 months out of the year. I know. Okay, so for those that don't know, the videos are behind in real time, but I'm not a great deal further ahead. Actually, I might have 1 or 2 more videos left before I'm completely caught up. And it was kind of nice that it worked out that way, because in this last video I was sick, and then we'll go back before that video, and you'll see that I was sick, but I'm over being sick, obviously, at this point. But it did give me a chance to take some time off, and we had a stretch of weather here that was just brutally cold. And unfortunately, because the cabin's not insulated, when it was so cold in here, it was that cold in the cabin. So it was 31 degrees below zero in the cabin, and I was not going out there and working on it. So it's given me kind of a buffer, which has been awesome. I just fed them all today, and Brother Will came over and gave them all a little treat. They're doing good, Karen. They're doing very, very good. Matter of fact, they're out there making all kinds of noise now because they know I'm home and I've got the generator running, so they want attention. Joanna, awesome that you could make it. Merry Christmas to you in Paris, France, from me in Funny River, Alaska. Charles and Annalyn are asking, have I found my kitchen appliances? I think with the way that I'm going to do my battery system, that I could get a regular traditional refrigerator, but I might go with a propane unique refrigerator. And for those not familiar with the unique brands, if you watch, I just watched a video today, Mapleberry Farms. So if you watch Jeremy and Ashley in their first place, they had all the unique appliances, and they're just awesome. But I could probably run a regular refrigerator because they're so efficient now. For a kitchen stove, it'll be propane. And I'm looking at possibly a commercial restaurant grade stove and oven, or burners and oven that I've kind of got my eye on locally right now, because man, I could bake a lot in that oven, and it's got it's massive burners on top, so for canning and everything, it would be fantastic. Right, Granny, I agree. Cedar is just amazing. And usually, just so you guys know, normally I go an hour for all my lives. I'll stop when I stop today. I'm not really in a big hurry to turn it off. It's Christmas Day. Let's hang out. Let's have some fun. For those of you that don't have family around like me and are pretty much doing your own solo thing for Christmas, we'll have fellowship here. That's awesome. How close am I to being done? Michigan Daffodil wants to know. You know what? It's every time I finish something, I look at what I have to do and I go, oh, there's so much more to do than I ever expected. I thought that the hardest part would be framing the cabin and getting a roof on it. Now I'm looking at the inside and I'm going, okay, I got to do this. I got to finish the insulation, right? I got to hang the ceiling insulation. I got to do the vapor barrier on the inside and get all that done. I have to frame up the walls for the bathroom and the pantry, and then the kitchen will be wide open, but the bathroom and the pantry need to have their walls framed up. And then I need to also build a staircase that goes upstairs to the loft. So I have a ton of work left to do. That doesn't count finishing the walls, finishing the floors, finishing the ceilings. I'll be working on this thing for a while, but there'll be a lot more stuff going forward as well besides just cabin. Trust me. Sunshine from Kenai, Alaska. Awesome, awesome. Merry Christmas to you. Trail Camp Pete, awesome you could make it. Merry Christmas to you, my friend. I might have a libation myself here live in a little bit. You have a natural gas stove? I have a natural gas line, across the street and down the road a bit that I could probably connect to. But the whole idea with this, they just put it in. But I don't have any utilities on my section of the road all the way down. And the whole idea of this cabin was to make it off-grid. So natural gas won't work for me. Propane will, though. Madhunanda, awesome that you could make it. Merry Christmas. Hope you had a wonderful, wonderful day. Too bad, David. Too bad you can't move your trailer inside the cabin. The greatest single day of my life will be the day this trailer is hauled off this property. I kid you not. If I have not shed a tear up to that point, I will shed a tear in joy at that point. Right, Granny Lana. Nice for canning. Get an AGA for my kitchen stove. They're very heat efficient, but unfortunately big bucks. Yeah, see, I'm trying to avoid, David, I'm trying to avoid the big tickets, the big dollars. I could pick up a commercial, a restaurant, a Wolf Range right now for $800, and I could probably talk them down to $600 or $500. And to me, that would be awesome because it doesn't require any electricity at all to run. And that's the biggest issue, even with the gas stoves, is that the oven pilot lights, the way that ovens are designed now for efficiency, require an electrical charge to continue to refire that oven to keep it hot. So that's why when you buy a strictly off-grid appliance, you're buying something completely designed for no electricity or for minimal in the case of some D-cell batteries. And you're paying for that. You're paying a lot more for that. Sudbury, Mass Wayne, awesome. Glad you could make it, my friend. Lindsay, good to see you. Merry Christmas. Debbie DeForge, Merry Christmas to you. Matt and AK, Merry Christmas to you, my friend. Debbie DeForge from Powell River, British Columbia. Awesome. My neighbor to the south. Good that you could join us today. David, Sean, I'm sure you'll finish your cabin before Russell. He's closer. He's closer to being done, but he started a lot longer ago than I did. It's hard to believe that I actually broke ground, physically actually broke ground on that thing in May. And I've never built anything in my life. And here it is, December, and I have a roof on. And if I would have really pushed it, I could have been living in that thing already. But I'm learning every day, and I'm not looking back and being sad that I'm not done. Lone Wolf flooring. Am I doing all wood, carpet, tile, linoleum? Yes, and yes. So I'm going to do probably linoleum or tile in the kitchen. Again, because it's easy to clean up, and that's an area where you're going to spill stuff. Probably the same thing in the bathroom because it's easy to clean up as well. But the rest of the cabin will be wood. The rest of the cabin floor will be wood. Lindsay, warm and cozy, 18 degrees in Fairbanks. Awesome, right? For those that don't know, Fairbanks, Alaska is one of the coldest places that I have ever lived. And I lived there from 1998 to 2000? 2001, I think, was when I moved from there to Houston, Texas. And 99 to 2000, and I know I tell it all the time, but I'll never forget it. The New Year's Eve, the temperature was 65 below zero, and that was the ambient air temperature. There was no wind chill. And the high temperature for 3 weeks was 45 below. So at 18 below in Fairbanks, people are wearing light clothes again. It's weird how you get used to that temperature. Sudbury, Mass Wayne, why can't I convert the room under the loft into my warm room and live in it? I could, right? I could hang some vapor barrier. I could put vapor barrier across the top. I could drape the vapor barrier down across the bottom. So that whole loft would keep warm. But again, I run into the problem of if I'm living in there, it's going to be harder to do what I need to do because all my stuff will be in there. So I'm trying to hold that off as long as I possibly can. Because I'll just get in my own way. I know that. I can tell with the stuff that I have in my trailer that, if I move that into the cabin early, right now as I'm trying to insulate, and I don't have a lot of stuff in there. I am constantly moving stuff out of my way to get that done. So that's why I'm holding off on that. Jim is unable to join us. Have a Christmas dinner at the Kenai Senior Center and wishes everyone Merry. Oh, awesome! Tell Jim I said Merry Christmas to her or to him. See, my stuff has settings for pilot to stay on or not. I love it because I'm in high desert and we lose power a lot. Heat your, oh, nice. 50 a month. That was cheap. That was cheap. That's not bad at all. And it has a blower. See? Oh, and you don't use the blower. See, for me, I couldn't use it. Another question that's come up with, again, for those who've been watching and follow along pretty much with every episode, you've met Todd, Todd's been awesome. The help that he has given me is just incredible. I wouldn't have got the rafters done or that roof on if it wouldn't have been for Todd. And then there's Ward, who helped. Ward jumps in all the time. Ward helped me do the Tyvek in this last week's video. Where was I going? Oh, so everybody was asking the same questions. Before you do your insulation, you need to get your electrical running, your wall and everything. And I started thinking about all that, and I go, okay, I want an outlet here, an outlet there, and then I stopped. And just like Jeremy and Ashley over at Mapleberry Farm, I said, that's not what I'm trying to build here. I don't want a million outlets. I'm not building a comfortable house that I have every gadget for that I have to power. So there are no outlets. There will be outlets in the kitchen, and if I could describe it for you, looking here on the side of the screen, imagine that's the back of my cabin, and up at the top would be a bathroom, and the middle would be a pantry, and then the kitchen. So there'll be a wall right there for the kitchen, and that wall will have the power on it to charge my electronics that I use to record all the videos and keep all my other stuff going. The staircase that's going to go up is where all my electrical will be, my battery, my inverter, all that stuff. It'll be underneath that. And then I'll run a line out there from there outside to the generator, so that my generator is an on-demand remote start key fob generator. So when I'm not getting the charge that I need for my solar panels, I can fire up the generator to top everything off. And then I'll run those lines up above and through the loft area, because eventually I'll close in those open beams in the loft. So I'm really stingy on power, and I need to keep it that way. Debbie DeForge, just curious, is the cost of food very expensive there? Yes and no. It depends on what part you're in. I'm on the road system in Alaska, and if you're on the road system in Alaska, it's pretty reasonable. The biggest issue I think we have here is really expensive produce and decent quality produce. But like, for example, I work in a grocery store, and we had prime rib on sale for $6.77 a pound for Christmas, which is that's a great price. No matter where you look, that's a pretty decent price. I understand Fred Meyer's had it at $5 something a pound. So, if you shop the ads, you're fine. We have the superstores, we have the Costco's, we have the Walmarts up here. But if you get out in the bush, you could pay $20 for a 12-pack of soda pop. You can pay more than that. You can pay $25 for a 24-pack of water, because all that stuff has to be flown out there. So it is more expensive, but it's not that much more expensive. But you have to understand also, I'm coming from originally growing up and living in California, and that's an expensive state. So when I compare Alaska to California, Alaska is much cheaper to live in than California was. Much cheaper to live in. Right? I'm with you, Lindsay. I love how cold it gets in Alaska. It's like, it gets to the point where you're looking at the temperature gauge and you're just laughing. You're all, man, this is brutal. Runes, good to see you, my friend. Merry Christmas. Glad you could make it. Scotty's Backyard Barbecue. Sudbury asked, Wayne, I put up rafters on my little corgi enclosure 8x8 space and realized it's a bit challenging. But I learned, right? And that was the biggest thing with me. When they say that the most important thing that you can do is make sure your building is square, they are not kidding. And I found out that there's a couple spots that weren't square. It made it a lot more difficult than it needed to be. But overall, it was what a great learning experience. It's incredible to think that, a guy who said he was going to do this, and many people said it wasn't going to happen, did it. And my kids are like, oh my God, Dad, you built a house. Super cool, super cool. Bill, you can never have too many outlets. No, I don't need them, Bill. I don't need them. Crazy everywhere. How much? Okay. So I can speak right to this, Debbie. A gallon of milk in Soldotna, Alaska is $4.29. And I know that because I manage the dairy at that local grocery store. So $4.29, and that's up from $3.99 that it was at for years. So we haven't We haven't seen big increases in milk prices, but I got to tell you that eggs have gone crazy up here. If you buy a 5 dozen pack of eggs, mine just went from like 10 something for that big box of eggs to over $15 in one price change. I'm like, wow. A dozen eggs are $3.29 for just a dozen large eggs. So certain things have gone crazy. Right? Exactly. What Lindsay says here. So if you're in the bush, $15 a gallon in some villages. Yes, Scotty, that was a great deal on the Prime, $6.77. And of course, I didn't buy it because I'm by myself. So I just bought a beautiful ribeye steak for dinner tonight. Granny Lena, I'm gonna have to look into that because that's pretty interesting. But I'm not at that point yet where I'm looking at buying appliances for the kitchen. So, but when I do, I definitely will remember this. And I definitely, matter of fact, if you could, either send me a message on Facebook or send me an email. And the email's on my About page with a little bit of the information about that stuff because I'd love to read about it. Right, Madhu Nanda, he knows California's expensive. California is, it's a beautiful state, but you're paying for it. It's nuts. Yeah, it's, you know, it's we don't have personal income tax up here, so there's that. You know, so you get to keep a little bit more of your paycheck that way. But gasoline, I just filled up the other day, and it was $3.79 a gallon, and that's the cheapest it's been for gasoline for me this year. I think that's pretty much the cheapest I've had this year is $3.79. Yeah. And that's what I was talking about with the difference in produce prices. It's crazy. It's crazy. And the carrots will be terrible. I agree, right? I'm glad we have chickens too, except mine quit laying because the days are too short. But we just had the solstice, so the days are getting longer every single day now, which is super, super awesome. Oh, where was I? If I leave the comment on the screen, that's because it's my placeholder to tell me where I'm at to make sure that I get everybody covered. And that brings me into projects for this year. So obviously I'll still be working on the cabin, but last year when I rented the heavy equipment to clean out the spot where the cabin was going to be that final time, the pad where the cabin's going to be, and then started clearing out the area over here for the garden. That's what I'm planning on doing this year. I was going to try and do the garden last year as well, and I'm glad I didn't because, man, I would have really bit off more than I could chew. So this year I'm building a garden from scratch, and I think it's going to be a ton of fun. I do know how to garden. I have gardened before, and we get great success with some good crops here in Alaska. So I'm looking very forward to that. That's going to be a ton of fun. Oh, you are she, and I am sorry. For some reason, I thought, never mind. I stand corrected, or sit corrected. Ginger Mask, glad you can make it. Wow, a dozen large eggs are $5.79. Ouch. It's $5.19 for the EB extra large eggs here. $5.79. We sell organic brown eggs for less than that in the grocery store here. Really, Scotty? Wisconsin, $5 a dozen. That's crazy. Oh, that's expensive. Yeah. Yeah. And part of that is has to do with all that stuff that happened earlier. I try and stay away from that. I try and stay away from political stuff. But part of that is because of all that happened earlier, and it, yeah. We'll leave it at that. So an 18 pack of eggs, or of extra large eggs, is $7 in San Antonio, right? So an 18 pack of large eggs in Alaska is $3.89. I think it's $3.89 right now. Alaska carrots are the sweetest carrots I've ever eaten in my life, and I have never been able to grow carrots, so that's a mission for me this year. I definitely want to. Grady Lena, on the bottom of all of my videos, probably not on this one, but on the bottom of all my videos are my show notes. and the page on Facebook is Sean in Alaska. But there's a link on my about page. There's a little Facebook logo up in the top corner of the screen with the picture of the frozen river. If you click on that, it should take you right to it. And I don't post as much there, but lately I've been sharing more and more stuff on there. So chickens lay eggs, from everything that I've read and everything that I've seen having these ones. Chickens lay eggs based on the length of daylight hours. So if I wanted to supplement the daylight hours and put a light in their coop, I would probably get eggs right now. But like Scotty's saying, and like Rune said, at this point, the eggs would be freezing every day. I lost, as we got to the end of the season, I lost 90% of my eggs to frozen eggs because I go to work at 2 o'clock in the morning. I get home at, say, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But in that window, if they've laid eggs, they're frozen solid and they're splitting the shell. So I can't really do anything with them. Whiskey Harbor, glad you can make it. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas. Jerry McKenzie. Did I pronounce that right? I hope I pronounced that right. Marcus, Merry Christmas. Skating Hero, Merry Christmas to you. You, Skylar, sisters Sawitri, and nephew Brandon, Merry Christmas to you guys. Glad you can make it. That's where I was at, right? 3 eggs a day for 15 chickens. And you're probably getting like an egg from, it's probably taken like 5 cycles before all the chickens have laid 1 egg. If you start eating chickens, though, you're going to eat the chickens laying the eggs. Good, I got it right. Awesome. So, temperatures for you guys, right? I mean, because you guys were getting the brutal cold, much more cold than we got here. Do me a favor and post it down in the comments section. Let me know how cold you got. And if you have ever been that cold before, it'd be interesting for me to see. Because it's just part of the normal life up here. But, man, I know in some states it just got brutal. Deborah, am I going to insulate the floor in the cabin? Yes, I'm going to insulate underneath the floor in the cabin. And then I'm going to probably cover that with what they call hardware cloth, which is like, think of the screen on your screen window, but maybe 1/4 of an inch size square and a little heavier metal. And that way I won't get animals climbing up there and eating it and pulling it all down. Manu, I am having the Santa look. That's why the beard always comes off in the spring. And, of course, Jillian brags, because New Zealand is having their summer right now, while the rest of us in the north are having our winter. I'll talk to you in June, Jillian, all right? June 21st, I want to know what your temperature is. -10 in Mass. Heat wave in Utah right now in the 40s. Awesome. David, how much work is it to keep a few egg-laying chickens? Is it worth it? I'll do a quick video on that, probably in the 1st or 2nd week of January. But my chickens paid for themselves from April until last month. They bought all their own feed with the eggs that they laid. I sold those eggs. They pretty much pay for themselves, and I ate all the eggs that I wanted as well. So I actually have numbers for that. If you live in a more industrialized area than I do, or you live in the lower 48, it'll be much cheaper for you to keep chickens because your feed's a lot cheaper than our feed up here. I'm paying $25 a bag for 16% protein during the main part of the year. And then during the winter, I up them to I pay 30 a bag for the 20% protein because I want them to have the extra protein to keep warmer in the winter. So yeah, I think they're very, if you're going to get one animal, I think, to try and raise for food, I think chickens are that animal. Yeah, you guys have had a pretty warm winter. Yeah, I don't want to see 60 below because if you guys get to 60 below, we're going to be at 20, and I don't want that, man. Lindsay, please. Let's hope that you have a mild winter this year because I really want the mild winter so I can keep working until I can get moved in. Karen, did you ever give a thought to what my first meal will be in my cabin? Well, to be honest with you, my first meal in the cabin will probably be breakfast, right? I'll wake up, I'll have breakfast. Um, but the first meal that I cook in the cabin, you know me, it's steak, right? It's got to be steak. It's got to be steak. 42 degrees in Florida. Yeah, 5,100 feet above sea level is a whole different. I lived at 5,500 feet above sea level in California, and it's a whole different temperature zone, isn't it? New Year, it'll be 65 or 56 for Wayne. Alan says 8 degrees early Saturday morning in Raleigh, North Carolina. Then the power company decided to do rolling blackouts. Oh man, it had to get cold. That's crazy. So you got 18 degrees and I'm at 15 degrees out here in beautiful industrial downtown Funny River. Well, that's yummy. That sounds like a great dinner. You're supposed to get snow for 2 weeks, and we've got snow in the forecast now for at least the next 7 days. I mean, it's like 30% chance or higher, but nothing over 50 that I've seen so far. Okay, I'm going to include quail, easy to keep, fast meat production, so you get eggs and meat. Also, they're frugal eaters, eating only what they need. And there is that. And I've looked at that, but I needed to start with something that there were a lot more people doing because that way, if I had questions, I would be able to get answers pretty easily for that. And I think that quail people are quail people and chicken people are chicken people. And I'm a chicken people. So I don't know that I will ever get quail. There are other breeds of birds besides that I could get, besides chicken and quail, that would pretty much do the same thing that I'm not really interested in. The only other bird that I think I might be interested in getting here, I might like to raise a couple of turkeys because it'd be nice to raise my own turkeys and pop them in the freezer. So not my thing, that's for sure. Bill, Merry Christmas to you, man. Get out there and have yourself some fun. When you get that video posted, I'll definitely take a look at it and I'll throw some comments on there for you, for sure. Cats are still inside. I'll sit down. Nice, nice. Right? It's one thing about the weather, right? If you don't like the weather in Alaska, you just wait 15 minutes. It'll change. 16 degrees in central Ontario for Whiskey Harbor. Awesome. Also, I've never seen a decent recipe for fried quail like I've seen for fried chicken. So I would like to do meat birds down the road too. That'd be kind of fun. But that's a whole different, section. And I don't know how much of that I would actually show on the channel because there are some people that get pretty upset about that. But that's kind of what I'm trying to do, right? I'm trying to make this place as self-sufficient as it possibly can be. With that said, sure, I'm putting in a propane backup heater and a propane stove, but that's only because I can't find a nice wood-burning kitchen stove that I would definitely love to use. I couldn't use it in the summer because it would be too hot, but I have plans for an outdoor kitchen as well, so that would be a ton of fun too. Alan, I could do that as well too, but with everything that I'm doing, man, my personal time to get out and do things this year was nil, was pretty much zero. The number of times I went salmon fishing, zero, not once. And that was just because I was too busy trying to do everything that I could on the cabin. And I'm sure it wouldn't have been that way if I knew what I was doing. But because I didn't, it took me 10 times as long to do everything. I mean, if you saw me pound nails into that first beam and how I used a hammer, and then you saw me slamming nails at the end for the roof, it was a totally different person. So yeah, I would love to get out and forage more in Alaska, and I think I'm going to try and make time to do that this next year for sure. Awesome, Big Bear. So you're on the way up with 10 degrees above today. Very cool. Yeah, quail is best with when bacon wrapped. Right? We can and here's what's awesome, right? If I could be 25 below zero here, straight across the line, just super cold, no wind, no nothing. I could get in the truck, take the hour and a half drive down to Homer, and be at 17 to 20 degrees above zero. So after a couple of weeks of bitter cold here, you'll see me come out with a video about a day in Homer. That's because I was too cold. I had to get somewhere where it was warmer. Definitely get somewhere where it was warmer. I do too. I actually cook over the open campfire quite a bit more than I do a barbecue. Awesome, man. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate that. I greatly appreciate that. David, Merry Christmas to you and your family. Have a wonderful time, and we will chat with you again soon, I'm sure. Right? Yeah. And I think that, when you're doing something for yourself that you've never done before, in the beginning, I was trying to be too perfect. But I kind of got to the point where, and Ward had to actually hit me pretty much across the head a couple of times and said, dude, just nail it. If it doesn't work, we'll fix it. So there was a lot to that as an amateur, you have no actual idea that, okay, you know what, we can fudge this part because we can fix it here. And I think I spent way too much time trying to be way too perfect on stuff that I was doing. Next fall, if I have the gear and time, you're welcome to come moose hunting in the frozen north with me and my friend. Oh, Chaga would be awesome. Chaga would be awesome. Moose, I came up here with a nice gun that I thought would do very well for moose, but I got to be honest with you, that's an awful lot of meat for one person. And that's probably the main reason why I haven't done any hunting in Alaska at all, is because I'm by myself, and I get a ton of people that say, well, I'll take some, and I'll take some. But unless they really needed it, I don't feel right harvesting something that I'm not going to use myself. But Chaga I would use. Trail Camp Pete, Merry Christmas to you, my friend. Glad you could make it. Awesome to connect with you on this Christmas day. I hope you are doing well, and hope the rest of your holiday season is awesome. Talk to you later, brother. Sean, you should check out Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. They have some great tips for living off grid. I do, Gloria. I watch Doug and Stacy. I don't watch them regularly because I watched them a lot more a year, 2 years ago when I was just getting into the whole YouTube thing. But to be honest with you, I'm pretty busy. So this time of the year is the time I can actually get on here and watch videos because things have slowed down so much for me. But Doug and Stacy have some neat stuff that they do. And I like Doug. Doug is a hoot. And Stacy is, man, she's got some tips and tricks when it comes to birds and stuff. That's just incredible. So Debbie says, what brought me to Alaska besides the great scenery? So I don't know what it was, but as a kid growing up, my uncle, and I was living in California, my uncle worked for an engineering company that helped build the pipeline in Alaska. And he would talk about it coming up here, but he was from LA and he was a city boy. Well, San Francisco, then LA, but he was a city boy and he would talk about it. And I just became fascinated with it. I was fascinated with Alaska ever since I was little. And anything that had anything to do with Alaska, I would watch, I would be engrossed in. And then I got divorced. And when I got divorced, I said, look, I got to get out of here. I can't stay where I'm at. It was a small town. I just wanted a new life. I wanted to get myself squared away and started off better. So I moved here. And it got in my blood, and that was it. I ended up moving back to California, raising my daughters. When my youngest graduated from high school, I had already decided I was coming back here and I was not leaving again. So I just fell in love with it. There's something about the state. There's something about the people that I run into on a regular basis up here that's different than anywhere that I had lived at the time, but a lot like the towns that I lived at when I was a little kid. So a lot more community and a lot more The number of people who have stopped off just to help me lift plywood here for a day has been just phenomenal. Driving down the road, pull in. Hey, I heard you're building a cabin. Need a hand for a couple of minutes? Boom, get right out of the truck and just start helping. And then, get back in. Thanks. Have a great day. You're doing great. It's just something about this state that I love. Man on the street, Merry Christmas to you as well. Glad you can make it. Awesome to see you. Right? Share it. And a full stock, it is. A full stock freezer is a blessing. I have not, Alan. I have not watched that yet. See, now this is super, super cool. Because I am a firm believer that if you want to do anything bad enough in your life, you can do it. I sincerely believe that. And I like to think that I'm proof of that. That, when I told my brothers that I was leaving California, I was going to Alaska, they said I'd never make it in the motorhome that I drove up here in. And then, the first day I was in Oregon, and they went, "Oh my God, he might actually make it." And then I told them I was going to build a cabin up here, and they were just like, "You're never going to build a cabin. You're never going to buy property up there." And every stage of the way, I was showing them that I could do it, but I was showing me that I could do it. And I firmly believe that anybody who wants to do anything can do it if they really, really want to. If they really put themselves to it, they really, really try. And I like to think that I'm an example of that. And that's awesome. You need to build your own cabin. And you need to build it for you, too. Not because you saw somebody do it. Midwest, welcome. I don't think I've seen you on here before. Awesome that you could join me. Merry Christmas. Will I build a garage or an outbuilding in the future? Yes, I'm gonna build an upgraded chicken coop. I want something big enough that I can actually walk into. I'm not really happy with the performance of the current coop that I have. My chickens are going through a molt phase right now, and it's brutal. It's brutal on them, and I want something bigger that I can insulate for them, that I can keep warmer. I also have plans of adding a bedroom on the lower level of the cabin. Because, like I said before, I'm 60 years old. As I get older, I'm not going to want to keep going up and down the stairs to the loft. So it'd be nice to put another bedroom downstairs. So probably a 10 by 10 addition onto the cabin. And then I'd like to build an outdoor kitchen. I'd like to build a smokehouse, a shop. There's a ton of stuff that I want to build. And with every project that I'm doing, it's more and more fun because I feel more and more comfortable doing it. So definitely we're building in the future. Julian, have I checked out Simple Living Alaska? I've been watching them since they moved here. Awesome. Eric and Ariel are awesome people, and the stuff they do. My garden aspirations are to have a garden half as good as hers, because her garden's just incredible. But I got to jump down here and say Merry Christmas to my youngest daughter, Ashley. I love you, and tell your mom I said hi. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Christmas. Brian, Lisa, Merry Christmas to you guys. I hope you have the best holiday and the most incredible New Year. And again, if I skip over your comment, because it looks to me like you're chatting with somebody else and you're not, ask it again. Jump back in there again and ask it. I'll never get bothered by multiple comments. And if I've already answered it, I'll just skip it the second time. It's not a big deal. So Matt says, for me, it was my buddy said one day, let's go drive tour buses in Alaska. Did 4 summers total. It's been 10 years, and I always said I left a piece of myself there. I often tell people, and Lindsay, you could probably, well, anybody in Alaska that's in the chat right now could attest to this. You either absolutely love Alaska or you absolutely hate Alaska. There is no middle ground. You either want to be here for the rest of your life or you want to get out of here as fast as you can. And I am in the first category. I want to be here for the rest of my life. It's just phenomenal for me. Boss of the Swamp, I watched originally quite a bit of his videos, but I haven't seen one of his videos in quite a while, to be honest with you. And that's because the direction that I'm going, I think, is different than the direction he was. And there was no value there at a certain point, but he's done some incredible builds. He's done some neat stuff. I'm not sliding that guy at all. He's a much better builder than I am. Your mom said you're going to get eaten by a bear when I moved here. My mom just said I was crazy. And then she said, you're coming back, right? I go, I'll come see you, Ma. I love you. Is my tool collection growing? Yes, but not by as much as people might think. I'm trying to think of. I mean, I bought a new skill saw. Um, I still have the same hammer. I still have the same hatchet. I still have the same maul. Still have the same axe. Not that much. It's grown some, but not that much. "7 degrees in Green Bay, Wisconsin area." You did have 17 below. You guys get that every year though too. But I was just curious. Was it actually colder than normal for you? Oh, right. Sure, her green thumb is just incredible. I mean, it's the two of them together too, right? Trust me when I say that this lifestyle is a whole lot easier to do if you have a partner that is also into this lifestyle, because you can work off of each other, you can play off of each other. Uh, Not to say obviously it can't be done by somebody who's single, because I'm doing it myself, but her gardening, just mind blowing. When they put their garden in the first year, and I watched them build the high tunnel and everything. I mean, I've been watching them forever. It just amazed me how much they pulled out of the ground. Just amazed me how incredible their garden turned out. Like I said, if I get to a 50% success rate of her garden, I'm going to be an incredibly happy camper. One of Simple Living's dogs, they do eat well, don't they? They do very well. Right? I'm with you there, Lindsay. Now they'll bury me here. I'm done. This is my final grounds here. 82 degrees in San Fernando, California. Both of my daughters and my grandchildren, my entire family lives in California. And I get down there to see them at least once a year. But I can't wait to get them up here because, oh my gosh, are they going to be blown away? They are going to be completely blown away to get up here. It has been. It has been super, super amazing. And I have made so many mistakes that I've learned from that have not been the kind of mistakes that you can't come back from. It's just phenomenal. I like to think that I got something on my shoulder watching out for me, which is awesome. Right, there you go. Very, very cool. 11 here, -3 wind chill in Indiana. That's much better than the 35 wind chill. Yeah, that's crazy. This year you think it's colder? Okay. That's awesome awesome to hear that it was, that it was as big of a deal as they made it sound, because the weather station can blow stuff out of proportion. Moose are no joke. Had to drop one that charged me 2 summers back, 15 feet, 375 Ruger. Moose versus human, moose always wins. Moose are much more dangerous than bears, and that is because there are many more moose than there are bears. Many more moose. And if you get one that's a cow that's got a couple of calves nearby, you're in trouble. You see that hair start to go up, it's all over. You better hide, you better run, you better get somewhere fast, because they're not stopping, and they'll just keep coming at you. Oh, nice. This is awesome. I should do a musical interlude here because I added this on here and I wanted to try it. And since you guys are in the room, we'll go ahead and we'll do it right now and see if it works. It's background music, so let's see if it plays right. I don't think I want to loop it though. I put this at the end of my last video because I hadn't really done anything Christmassy this year. Again, so busy, so busy that I got a lot of stuff that I normally like to do and look forward to doing. I just didn't have the time to do this year. Yeah, Alan, no permit required at all for my property. I have not had to get one single permit yet. I think my youngest one would in a heartbeat. The oldest one doesn't really like the cold that much, so I don't know, although she was looking at houses up here for a while. They're grown women with families of their own, and any decision they make, I would support 1,000%. A bit on the loud side, okay? Right here. Probably turn it down to about there. Let me know if you can still hear it. I like that. That's kind of nice. Turn the volume up on mine and see. Okay, it's better there in the background. I just have to be careful. I've only got the one song, and I know it works on YouTube without me getting in trouble. So, because I downloaded it from YouTube. Jim, Merry Christmas to you, man. Glad you could pop in. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas dinner. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas day. Be Charming, Merry Christmas to you. I'm glad you could make it in. I hope your day was awesome. Lori, Merry Christmas to you. I hope your Christmas holiday was fantastic. Awesome to see you. I hope you're doing well. Okay, good. Yeah, last year, man, it seemed like I had like 15 or 20 Christmas music podcasts that I had set up that everybody could download and listen to and pretty much have on their own. And I didn't have time to do any of that stuff this year. It was crazy. It was crazy, crazy busy. Lindsay, I've been looking at 80 acres with a one-bedroom cabin near Clear for about $200K. It's a hard decision, right? Oh, man. Yeah, my biggest regret is that I really only have 1.5 acres here. And I really wanted more land. But to buy big chunks of land in this part of Alaska on the Kenai Peninsula can be very, very pricey. But I'm going to buy another piece of land, a bigger piece of land up north, and I'm going to build a cabin again. But I think the next one's going to be a log cabin. I'm not going to quit. I'm just going to keep doing this till I die. I love it. I love every part of it. Okay, now it's a bit soft. I think it's over, actually. Yeah, it's over, actually. So that's why it's a bit soft. I might try it again. I turned it up just a little bit. I might try it again here in a little bit. We'll play it again. Awesome, Lori. East Tennessee now. Very, very cool. Thank you, man. It is awesome. It is so, so awesome. So cool to have it, to be able to look out my window and just see it too. Or when I get home from work in the afternoon and I pull into the driveway and there's a cabin. Super, super cool. Okay, in Wisconsin, it's 5 p.m. What time is it for me? Right now, it is 1:55. Well, 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So a 3-hour time difference for us. Do I have a dog? Not yet. I am a firm believer that you don't have a pet that you don't have time for. So I didn't get a dog because I, A, did not have enough time to spend with a dog, and B, I was living in this fifth-wheel trailer and before this a motorhome, and that was not conducive to having a pet. That wasn't. It would have been fair to me. It wouldn't have been fair to the pet. But when I get in the cabin, we'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens. I am a dog person. I love dogs immensely. So eventually I will definitely have a dog. Man on the Street wants to know what's the cost per acre up here. It depends on where you're buying. I mean, you could get like, I pretty much got you can get 1 acre to 2 acres out where I live right now for 10 grand. But you can also for 30 or 40 grand, or say 20 grand, in some areas buy 20 acres. So it depends on the access. It depends on the utilities and what's around you. It depends on how close you are to a town or if you need to work. But if you want to get out, that's still road accessible, but you want to get out somewhere that's kind of in the middle of nowhere, you can get land pretty cheap. But then again, you could try and buy land in Anchorage or the Valley and pay an ungodly amount of money for it. So it just depends on what part you're looking at. Man, that's got to be crazy. I don't think you guys get that weather normally. Holy smokes. Right? It is. It is. It's definitely anything is possible. And you know, I like to think that I'm also proof that anybody can start over at any age that they want to. Because financially, I was a mess. Everything about me was pretty much a mess before I moved back to Alaska. And I spent the last year kind of getting myself in order in California, knowing what I wanted to do. And then I then I just came up here and did it, and focused on doing what I wanted to do. And I think a lot of people get caught up in having a dream and chasing the dream and trying to do everything for the dream except actually grabbing the dream. And for me, I needed to see the progress happen. So no matter what happened, the cabin was going to start this year. I didn't do it last year because of the price of lumber. I'm glad I waited a year, but it was going to happen this year no matter what, because I needed to be in that position where I was making progress and making things happen. I love shepherds. I'm a border collie guy. I'm an Australian shepherd guy. I love those dogs. They're just awesome. Awesome dogs. Am I keeping the motorhome or am I getting rid of that too when the cabin is finished? You said you're getting rid of the fifth wheel. Probably getting rid of both, I think. I don't really need them. When I go camping, I still sleep in a tent on the ground. That's my idea of camping. I'm not a trailer guy. Because I live in one. So for me to really rough it, I really need to be sleeping on the ground. So I imagine both of those will be gone. Both of them will be done. Yeah, right. It depends on the area, but definitely first was there's places up here where you could probably get property for 250 an acre, $250 an acre. But finding that and those are places that you're probably either you're going to retire to or you're just going to use them to go like hunting camps, weekend cabins during the summer, that kind of stuff, because you're not going to drive to work from there. I don't know about a purebred Yorkshire Nation. That's sad. That's sad. Very cool though. Very cool. Paid 38,000 for my 30 acres and a 400-foot cabin 5 years ago. That is awesome, Runes. That is a great deal. That is a screaming great deal. I would challenge you and say that outside of Fairbanks, you can get 10 acres for less than that. But you have to know the area, and you have to really be ready to buy it when it becomes available. And I think that getting land in Alaska in the outlying areas right now is getting easier and easier, because unlike a lot of other states, we've had a lot of population decline in this state. So we're not getting as many people moving up here as we are that are leaving. So it's almost a negative thing. And our population in certain areas is quite a bit older. So as they as they get older and they decide they want to leave the state, it opens up more and more land to more and more people. But still, 10 acres for 16K, I would have jumped on that in a heartbeat. Karen wants to know how the Eagles are doing. So if you follow the community tab, you'll see that I post pictures of the Eagles all the time. Came home yesterday, Karen, and they were sitting right there. Well, one was sitting on this tree and one was down the road on the other tree. And whenever they do that, we're like, okay, they're having a fight right now. Nobody get in the middle of that, because they are a mating pair. But they're doing fantastic. And everybody that lives out in the Funny River community likes to keep an eye on and comments on the Eagles when they first show up. And when they see them out there all the time. We actually have that mating pair, and then I've started to see 2 or 3 more on that road not far from them as well. And obviously that's just where they are in the winter, because during the summer they're out fishing and doing all their eagle stuff. And thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you as well. Oh, there he is. The man, the myth, the legend. Art, how you doing, my brother? Merry Christmas to you and the family as well. I hope you guys had a wonderful, wonderful Christmas day today. Art just bought property deep South Alabama down the road from me, and he'll be up here building a cabin or cabins this year, which is awesome. I can't wait for him to get up here so I can hang out with him again. Great, great people. Incredibly, incredibly warm and friendly family. Yeah, I'm the same way here. I'm a dog person. I really am. Cats are okay. I mean, my ex had a cat. My kids have cats. I don't really like cats, which means all cats, for whatever reason, like me. Um, but I'm a dog person. There's just something about when you come home from a hard day's work and you walk up to your house and that dog is just, you are the greatest thing in the world to that dog. And that's an awesome feeling. It's wonderful, wonderful to have. Do I, Wayne? If you're asking me, we don't have elk in Alaska. And I've never hunted for moose up here. We have moose, we have caribou. Down further south, we have deer. We have bear. So we have brown bear, black bear. And I haven't hunted for anything up here at all. We have birds, we have duck, we have geese, we have all that kind of stuff. But I've never really never gotten into that. I fish. That's my thing. I love to fish. I agree. And when you can pull that salmon out of the river from right down the street here and get back to your house and throw it on your grill within about 15 minutes of pulling it out of the river, it's the best tasting salmon you've ever had in your life. I love it. Right, Matt? If you like cats, they don't want anything to do with you. But if you don't like cats, they love you. They just want to mess with you. They are they're the coolest. If I did get a cat, it would be a Maine Coon because they're so big. But they're a trip. Those animals. They are an absolute trip. I had one when I did get divorced years ago. My ex left the cat at the house, and I didn't like the cat. And I was in a bad spot. I just didn't feed the cat. I thought, well, maybe it'll run away. And I would come home from work, and there would be like a dead animal sitting at the door because the cat was hunting for itself, and it figured I didn't have any food either, so it was hunting for me. It was leaving me food. So then I'm like, oh man, I got to start feeding this cat. So I started feeding it, and it was a pretty cool cat. But yeah, I'm a dog person. Those animals though are a trip. Cats are something else. I will. There will be a video this year of me doing a charter. Todd, just his daughter just came up, and that's why part of the reason why he had to kind of break away from helping me on the cabin is because he had to get some stuff done at his place before his daughter got here. But he went out with a guy that is local and pretty much takes out a lot of local people, and they went crabbing too. So I would like to do that because we're allowed 25 crabs a year, and the permit's free, but it's only 3 a day. So I would like to do a crabbing king salmon charter for the day, and I definitely will take the camera along, and you guys will go along with me. That will be a ton of fun. They do, right? They give unconditional love all the time. Am I doing the brewery thing in Anchorage next month? I might not. I might actually skip it, which would be the first time that I did not go this year or since I've lived in Alaska. And the main reason is the cabin. I really want to push to be in there before winter's over. And there's going to be a lot of work and a lot more cash involved in that. So I want to make sure that I have the time I need to get that done. Because if I go to Anchorage, that's a 3-day trip for me. Not to mention hotel costs, fuel costs, and everything else when I go up there. So I probably will not go this year. That's my thought right now. It keeps popping up on my Facebook page saying, "Hey, it's getting ready," and I'm thinking I might not go this year. I might not do it. That and my brother is coming up, either January or February. My youngest brother. So I want to save some money and some time so him and I can get together and do some stuff. I'll just keep hanging out for as long as you guys want to hang out for, or until now probably 2 hours, right? We'll call it at the longest, it'll be 2 hours. So I'll be off of here. Right now is just after 2 o'clock, so we'll go till 3. And then if it's kind of dying down by then, I'll probably pull the plug on it. But right now, while the generator's running and we're doing this live, I'm charging up my electric. See where my backup battery's at. So I'm at 37 or 73% on the backup battery, and I want to put a top-off charge on the main battery I use here too. I was talking about the main part of Alaska where I'm at. So they have elk, they have down south, they have deer, massive deer populations on some of the islands down south as well. But we don't have deer in the mainland part of Alaska that I am aware of, and I don't believe we have elk in the mainland part of Alaska that I'm aware of. We do have bison though, and bison would be pretty awesome. Alan wants to know how much snow I have on the ground right now. Probably 30 to 36 inches right now on the parts that we haven't walked on or driven on or anything like that. So almost 3 feet. Matt, Merry Christmas to you and to your family. Get off here and go eat dinner with them. I'm glad you could join me for the afternoon, though. That was very, very cool. Glad you could make it. Well, I am super glad you found the channel too. It just amazes me. So when I started doing this, and I often joke about this, I started the channel mainly because my daughters and my grandkids and my mom and my brothers and everybody live in California, and it was a way for me to show them what I was doing up here in Alaska. And for the daughters, it was a way for, like, they'd say, hey, Dad, I want the recipe for this. I put a quick, stupid video together, and I'd give them the recipe for how to make something, and then they could always go back and look at it when they were done. I never, ever expected that I would be pushing, it might even be there right now, 3,000 subscribers. I was like three subscribers away from 3,000 earlier today, and that was just amazing to me. And hopefully we don't lose it while I'm doing this here. All right, I'm still here. Hang on one second. Let me see where I'm at. Bounce out of my studio. Nope, 2997. So I'm at 2,997 subscribers. I hit 1,000 last year, and it was just amazing to me. So, to be pushing 3,000 now, I'm going, wow. And I kind of bring that up too, because when I talked about the video for the recipes, my oldest daughter called me this year and said, Dad, what's the link to your recipe for prime rib? Because I'm going to try and make it this year. And I just need to know the temperature, or you send me. And I just told her, just Google prime rib Sean in Alaska. She did it, and she made the prime rib, and I'm waiting for pictures of it, but it should have turned out awesome. It looked beautiful going into the oven. Awesome. Karen loves the calendar. I do put calendars together. If you check out the most recent video, there'll be a link on there if you're interested in getting a calendar from Alaska. It's kind of like what Simple Living Alaska does. Matter of fact, I got the idea from them. And it's all pictures that I've taken myself. There's no pictures in there that came from someone else. And amazingly enough, most of those pictures, except this year with the Eagle pictures, were all done with a cell phone. The Eagle pictures I use the good camera for, and I got some incredible pictures of eagles with that. So if you're interested in something like that, I think they run 20 bucks. Go ahead and check it out. The link will be underneath the show notes of my latest video. The last couple of videos actually will have that link. Let's talk about something we all do and no one talks about. You putting in a septic tank. They have a new system to make biogas for cooking from human waste. What will I be doing? Nothing to begin with. I'll be doing an outhouse to start with. I'm just switching to Wayne's comment here so that I can be in the screen more. I have an outhouse that I'll continue to use for a while before I do a septic system of any kind. I'll probably put a well in, and then I'm leaning really towards if I do put a septic tank in, there'll be no leach field, because then I have to worry about where my well is located in conjunction to where my leach field is at. But as a single person, or even down the road as a couple, if that were ever to happen again, I could have a tank pumped once a year for a couple of $100, and it would just become a holding tank at that point. So septic tank's way down the road for me. It's not something, I don't have a family, so it's not something I have to worry about. I could do an outhouse for a while. It just gets uncomfortable when it's 20 below, 25 below zero, and you have to go use the outhouse. Alan wants to know if the new snowblower is working well. It worked awesome. That big snowstorm, it just tore up the snow. There'll be a video coming up here in the next couple of weeks that'll show you where I cleared out to the back of the cabin, because I got to get to the scaffolding, shovel it all out, and move it up front so that I can get the Tyvek done in the front, and then I got to move that scaffolding inside again so that I can get the insulation hung in the ceiling in the area that doesn't have a loft. So you'll see how much snow is back there, and it's just phenomenal. That snowblower is a beast. In my area, do I worry about mouse? If so, how do I get rid of them? We don't really have mice here on my property. They have mice in town because it comes in with the groceries and it comes in with the freight on the ships and everything else. But where I live, we have like shrews. We do have rodents, but they're never really a big problem. And I don't think I'm going to have a big issue with them. It's like anything else, right? You keep your place clean. You don't give them an area to go to. In my case, where the feed is for the chickens and stuff like that will probably be the place that they're going to focus on. And I'll keep that cleaned up. But, if they get a little bit, I'm okay with that. It's not a big deal for me. Nanny Goat Acres, awesome to see you. What kind of outside siding am I leaning towards for my cabin? If you know what the chicken coop looks like with that board and batten finish, I'm thinking that I'm going to do a lot of the cabin in board and batten, and then maybe a separation line for the gable ends with something a little different up above for the gable ends. But board and batten to me looks really pretty. And Mike from Not So Remote Alaska has a mill, and he mills the stuff, so I'll probably talk to him about a price. And get him to mill some local wood for me for it. That would be the fun way to go. Thank you, Len. I appreciate that. If you guys are not subscribed and you enjoy what you're seeing here, and you think I'm a knucklehead, you have no idea how much of a knucklehead I really am. Go check out the videos, but subscribe. Michigan Daffodil, Merry Christmas to you and your family. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you have a wonderful new year. Like I said, I'll be doing this again next Sunday. If you guys are interested, pop in. I'm going to try and do it from inside the cabin if I can get the electrical stuff figured out and I can get it warmed up better. Oh, there we go. I was just talking about him. Mike at Not So Remote Alaska. He subscribed twice if he could. He provided all the board and batten lumber for the chicken coop, and I just love how that turned out. So you and I need to talk, Mike. I need to see if you can maybe put together a wood package for me for siding for the cabin. He's got a great channel too. He does some neat stuff. And he's just a wonderful guy. I'm telling you, people I meet in Alaska, and especially the people I've met since I've done YouTube, just phenomenally incredible people. Whipple One, glad to see you, my friend. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas, everybody. All the best in the new year. Debbie, thank you for popping in today. Very nice having you in with me this afternoon. Glad you could spend a bit of your Christmas here on the channel. Right? Yeah, little voles. They drive the daughter's dogs nuts. They run through under the snow tunnel with dogs. I have one we named Steve. And I'll be sitting, I swear, I'll be sitting outside, and he'll just poke his head out and just look at me. And I'll go, "What's up, Steve?" And he'll just sit there and look at me. Then he'll turn around and he'll walk away. Wildlife is wildlife. I love it. It's very cool. Thank you very much. I laugh all the time. I do. I think Russell over at Raspberry Rock said it best. Sean could cut his arm off and he would probably still be laughing. I would. I'd be laughing at whatever idiot thing I did to cut my arm off. I'd be trying to staunch the blood flow, though. Trust me. You got to learn to laugh, man. Too many people don't laugh at themselves enough. And too many people don't laugh enough. Nunya, Texas on the back 20. Merry Christmas. Glad you could stop in. Awesome to see you. Firefly Farm, Lori, good to see you. Cooking lesson for boys, 20-year-olds, and they're doing the dishes while it cooks. Awesome. See? That's it. That's restaurant skills right there. That way, when you're done with dinner, you got nothing to clean but the plates. You just wash all those pots and pans while you're cooking. That is the way to teach your kids how to cook. Jared, Merry Christmas to you as well. I'm glad you could join us today for a bit. And I hope you enjoyed yourself, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Christmas and a happy, happy New Year. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. Someday. I'd have to put on a little bit more weight, though, because I lost a lot this last year. Ed Case says, build a composting toilet, just put the recycled beer into a separate container and pour it on tree base. That's actually what I do right now. So my outhouse is a composting outhouse. Everything's in a bucket, and it's, okay, well, this might be sensitive for some folks, but it's called human manure. And I won't use it in the garden, but I do plan on growing flowers. So I will use it on the flowers. But I do a composting toilet for the outhouse right now, but just a bucket version of it. And then all the liquid waste goes out by the trees in the garden because it is just super packed with nitrogen and super great for the ground. So I do that now. When you're a man, though, the world's your urinal, right? All a man needs is a tree. Give us a tree and we are set. You Mudford channel, and we're like family. He goes live usually on Sunday, but you will be earlier. Okay, cool. Yeah, in my old time on Sunday was 3 p.m., but I'll probably go a bit earlier on Sundays now, just because I want to spend. I've got the heater on in the cabin. I want to go see how warm the cabin is when I'm done here, because I've had the heater on there for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Big dreams. Glad to see you. Merry Christmas. Awesome. Mike is in Alaska, and Mike's in a part of Alaska that gets a great deal of snow. Send him a list of what you think, and I'll see what I can do. The mill's buried. Snow in the moment, spring's on the way. Exactly. As we get closer to spring, I'll put a list together, and I'll let you know what I'm thinking about. And then you kind of, if you would, think about it in your head too, because I trust your judgment on that, man. That board and batten on the coop just looks beautiful. I like all the buildings when I'm done to have the same finish, except for the outdoor kitchen. That one, because I'm a huge fan of Sean James and My Self-Reliance. When he built his outdoor kitchen, I really loved how whimsical it was, and I want to do something like that with my outdoor kitchen. I want it to be real whimsical. Bernice, Merry Christmas to you. Great to see you. Awesome you could pop in. Navy Dave, Merry Christmas, my friend. As a matter of fact, Brother Will and Barb gave me a Home Depot gift card, and we'll just call that insulation. That was awesome. I mean, I go, look. Todd was sitting, actually, we were all sitting together having pizza over at Brother Will's and Barb's mom's house last night on the river. And I go, Todd goes, what'd you get? And I go, look, insulation. They did, and it still works today. It is honestly foolish for people not to use it today because it is a free source of nitrogen. You do have to, or you should, cut it down, but you shouldn't just do straight 100% because it will burn veggies, and it'll burn plants, and you don't want it applied directly to plants because it is so high in nitrogen. But yes, it is a great source. I know, right, Lindsay? I would love to. I've seen a couple of them, but the prices were way, way too expensive. I've actually cooked in one before. I had one in a house I rented in the Sierras years and years ago. Camp Connell, up Highway 4, below Bear Valley, when I rented a place there, had a stove like that, and I did a full Easter dinner in there for the girls. Baked bread, did a ham. It was awesome. I loved it. But the problem is that you can't really use those once the temperature comes up. But at that point, for me, it's not a problem because I'm cooking outdoors anyway. Exactly. So if you don't follow and you haven't heard of Pinball Preparedness, awesome channel. His lives are a ton of fun. He can get political, but he's got a bunch of tips and tricks for gardening that is just awesome. And yeah, he's got a video on how to properly use urine, how to break it down and properly use it for your garden. And he's a neat guy too. I'm a fan of his. I follow his channel and I watch his lives every chance I get. Ward! Merry Christmas, brother. Hope you're doing well. Hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas day. That's the man, the myth, the legend. Ward is my go-to whenever I have any kind of questions whatsoever. And he's the guy that also comes up to me and goes, why are you doing that, you idiot? Awesome, awesome. Hey, Ward, Art's in here somewhere, or he was earlier. Eves, Merry Christmas. Glad you could pop in. Good to see you. Yeah, I kind of decided this morning that I was going to do it, Ward. I was going to actually try and do it from the cabin, but I wasn't ready. So I'm doing it from the cabin New Year's Day. Next Sunday, I'll be live from inside the cabin. So if you want to come on over and be on the camera, definitely. Thank you very much, Renice. It's to me, it's just amazing every time it transforms and I see it. Look at even JD's seeing you, Ward, right? It is. I'm so far behind on his build. When I stopped watching Sean on the new build for his new place, he was just finishing the outhouse. That's how far behind I am. I need to catch up. I really do, because I love watching that guy. He is amazing. I was a huge fan of Alone in the Wilderness. The guy that Dick Prenicky that built the cabin by hand over at Twin Lakes on the other side of the inlet for me. And I watched those videos, and he was actually 51 years old when he started, which was my age when I started, when I moved back up to Alaska. And I thought he was just an incredible carpenter / woodsman / and Sean James has just picked up from there. And oh man. So I definitely need to get caught up on him. Right? There we go. Definitely. Right? That's a common sense thing. I knew it. Told you. Ward, Art's here. He is. Ward is a great guy. Ward has helped me so much. It is incredible. Eves, I'm glad you popped in. A Merry Christmas to you and your family, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful New Year's. If you get a chance, I'm going to be live next New Year's Day, probably around the same time. So I started, at 1 o'clock today? So let's plan on 1 o'clock my time next weekend. For anybody who wants to join me, definitely we'll have some fun, and hopefully it'll be inside the cabin, and I'll give you some sneak peeks of where I'm at. You get to see stuff nobody else gets to see because you're at the live. Karen's excited. She was actually giving me grief. Karen is probably one of my #1 commenters of videos that I do, and probably one of my #1 supporters of everything. She's just awesome. But she's been on me for like the last couple of videos, leaving comments saying, hey, when's your next live? When are you going to go live? Because I was pretty regular about doing these lives until tourist season hit and we lost all cell phone coverage. Because I do everything, I piggyback all this off my cell phone. But definitely glad to have you here today. Glad you can make this one, Karen. Surviving behind the liberal lambs. Glad I went to YouTube. Notifications were off. Well, awesome. I'm glad you did too. I'm glad you checked it out today. Very cool. Merry Christmas to you, by the way. Right? Yeah, Dick Prenicky is a legend. Just incredible. To me, I think that what blew me away the most about him were two things that he did. Number one, he built that fireplace in his cabin. And so now that I create videos and I make videos, I see things in videos and movies that people don't see because I'm looking at everything, because I hide stuff in my videos that I don't want you to see. And I know that he had a wood stove in there too. But when he made that, when he built that fireplace by hand, and then when he cut the design for the hinges for the doors, and then built the opening and closing mechanism, the latch for the door, I was blown away. That was just phenomenal to me. On New Year's Day, Lori. Yeah, on New Year's Day. So next Sunday. I would take some of that San Diego heat. Well, maybe not. I'd be happy with about 25, which I think we're going to get this week. I'm at 16 now. 16 above zero. That's awesome. Oh, that's the other thing too, right? She said, "Oh boy, you're gonna love when you get the chance to sit back and watch the new build. It's best." So everybody, all the other stuff that I have left to do, I still don't have a porch on the front of my cabin yet, so I have to build a porch too. But I'm kind of holding off on that right now because the snow is almost to that level, and I want to get the inside done so I can move in. I'm glad you can make it. It's awesome to have you here. It's pretty straightforward and fun and laid back and easy. You can chat with people in the side chat. If you got a question for me, feel free to ask it. If I don't answer it right away, ask it again. Put it in caps. I might have missed it, but I try and answer everything in order as it goes down the line. So that way everybody gets an answer. If I see your question twice and I've already answered it, I'll just say, oh, already got that one, and skip through it. Yeah, I got to say that I'll probably put together a little video on ways to keep yourself warm when the cold hits and you're not expecting it. Because obviously, living in a trailer where it's massively below zero all winter long, and I've done it now for 9 years, I got a few tips and tricks and stuff that people might need to keep on hand that could help you. But there's no help for someone who lives in, say, North Texas, who's not used to those temperatures, and when your pipes start busting, there's nothing you could do. I mean, but you could keep warm still, and that's the main thing. I thought of jumping something out real quick the other day, and then I said, nah, these people they're too busy taking care of themselves. I'm not gonna do that. They're gonna be watching their own stuff. Where was I at, Ed? There we go. Shuttle asks, so this is the start of you going back to a regular weekly lives that would just make your Christmas. I think I should be able to do it for a while. I'm going to try. I'm going to try and do it on a regular basis, because it'll also give me something to look forward to. I really enjoy this. I enjoy the one-on-one instant replies with folks. I try and answer every comment that I get as quickly as I can, but it's nice to be able to answer it right away when you ask it right here. And it gives other people a chance to ask questions that they normally might not ask. See? Yeah, exactly. I agree, Art, 100%. Why isn't there 2 wood stoves in cabins? Well, there are. There's people who have cabins with 2 wood stoves. And I mentioned them earlier, Jeremy and Ashley at Mapleberry Farms Off Grid. They have a big wood stove in their basement that is their main heat source for their house, and then in the farmhouse. And then on the upstairs, they have a fireplace that also is supporting heat for the house. So there's nothing that says you can't have multiple wood stoves in a house. There's no rules. There's no reason why you wouldn't want to do that, other than a lot of times a wood stove puts out so much heat you don't need more than one. I could buy a wood stove for my cabin right now that honestly is probably going to cook me out of that cabin. That's why my windows will open, so that I can let cold air in, because it's going to be way too hot. I can tell you right now that when I get in that loft, because that's where I'm planning the bedroom to begin with, that's going to be a warm place to sleep during the night. Even in the trailer here, right? So right now my temperature gauge is 86 degrees, all right? But that's 86 degrees at the ceiling. The floor right now is maybe 20 degrees, okay? But the bedroom area, which happens to be up the stairs and in a loft in the trailer, is probably right around 78 to 80 degrees right now, because heat rises. So I know the loft in the cabin is going to be hot, but there's no reason you couldn't have 2 wood stoves. Right? Awesome. I love when you comment, Karen. I love every comment you make. I try and answer every single one. Oh, that is freaking awesome, dude. You did not have to do that. Very cool. Insulation. That's insulation right there. I love it. Granny Lana wants to know what time it is here right now. It is 2:30 in the afternoon. So about a half away, probably about a half hour cutting it off. Back to Be Charming. I love your cabin. So excited with the windows went in. One, though, the small pane of glass on the right of both windows. Could you have flipped one so they were small out? I thought about doing that. And when I put the windows in the loft in the back, I made sure that the cranks were on opposite sides so the windows would open up in different directions. And I wanted to do that with the big windows that were downstairs. I wanted the little one here, and then I wanted the little one on the outside, so that it kind of, but if I did that, I would have had to turn the window over, and then the crank would have been inside on the ceiling. It would have been on the top of the window. It wouldn't work. But yeah, I tried to get those so that they would be aesthetically better. It wasn't just a women's point of view. That would have drove me crazy, though. If I went over to look at my window every day, and this one had the crank on the bottom and the other one had the crank on the top, I would have been nuts. So that would have been an OCD moment for me. Scrolling through here, 23 and clear here, and no snow for Lori at Firefly Farms. 27 in Northeast Arkansas. That was your high today. Put out something about keeping warm. It's cold here in New Zealand and stuff. Yeah, I will. You know, it's surprisingly easy. And I didn't realize how easy it was until I had to do it. I'm a huge fan of blankets. Is that blanket right there? That hangs over my window during the winter because I've got it open now. And you can't really see it. Maybe I'll post a picture on the Facebook page when we're done with this video. So if you don't follow me on Facebook, jump over and follow me on Facebook. On my About page for my channel, the little Facebook logo up in the top right-hand corner, click on that. That'll be a link to take you to the Facebook page. And I don't spam people over there. I just have fun posting pictures. But if you can see this right now, there is a huge layer of ice on the inside of this window because they're single pane glass. And the byproduct of propane, one of the byproducts is water. So the moisture, anytime it hits any outside surface, freezes instantly to it. So the blankets help keep that extra layer of air and insulation in there. So blankets over the window is a super, super easy way to keep things warm. So around 11 my time you go live. So right now it's 2:30 p.m. roughly, and it's 4:40 for you there. So yeah, about 11. No, you'll be 2 hours later than me. So if I go live at 11 or at 1, then it should be about 3 your time, right? I think. You know what you could do? You could Google what time is it in Alaska now? Because a lot of times when I'm chatting with somebody on a live and I can't remember what time it is for them there, I'll just Google what time it is in Nova Scotia so that I know. Ward, come on. Stairs? The ladder's so cool. I know, I got to get some stairs up the front door. I did though install a doorknob today. So I have a locking door now. The front door closes and locks. Very cool. So now I probably got to put stairs in. Why do we keep the buddy heater on the table and not down on the floor? More than any reason, probably safety. And the temperature on the floor is not as important to me as the temperature from... Okay, so like I said, the floor can get pretty uncomfortable, but if it gets too uncomfortable, I have the backup buddy heater that I will touch off on the floor, but I won't do it for that long. Again, for safety reasons, and I don't want to burn anything, and I don't want to burn the trailer down. But I want it warm from here up. I don't really care about it not being too warm down below. And if I put that down on the floor, that's a pretty big buddy heater. I'd be afraid of danger with it, a safety issue with it. Yeah, see, that's a great comment. That's what I was talking about. One wood stove can put out a ton of heat, depending on the size. I mean, you could get wood stoves that'll heat a 6,000 square foot home, and they're so efficient nowadays that one wood stove is probably more than most houses need. First of all, Louis, Merry Christmas to you. I'm glad you can make it. How did I go about acquiring my land? I actually bought it from Brother Will, but I was looking throughout this whole area. And I was looking at MLS.com for Alaska. So MLS is a multiple listing service. Generally speaking, realtors from all over will list their properties on an MLS, a multiple listing service, to try and get other realtors to help sell their land because they're all going to make a commission when it's all said and done. So I was looking on there, but the property that I bought here was just perfect. I mean, I'm a mile away from Brother Will's house. I'm less than a quarter mile away from the river. So it turned out just to be an awesome, awesome place. So that's how I went and acquired the land. I put in some offers on a couple of other pieces. Mine had to be owner financed because I didn't have the cash. I had the cash, but if I bought the land with the cash, I wouldn't have had the cash to build the cabin. So I was trying to do owner financed, and it worked out well. Will financed it. I just paid him every month, dropped off, the money at his house. So that's how I did it here. And there is owner financed land up here. You just have to look, and sometimes it won't list it, but make the offer and say, hey, are you willing to carry paper? Because a lot of people are. The problem is a lot of those contracts say that if you default, you lose everything that you paid into it. So make sure you can do it before you do it. And you're going to pay a higher interest rate too on owner finance land. Vincenza, you're 10 hours ahead of me in England. It's got to be late there, right? It's midnight. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning, Vincenza. What are you doing? I'm glad, though, that it's awesome that you got a chance to get in on live. That is very, very cool. Man, that's late. What if you don't put stir? Just drink more beer. GD, I don't think you know what you're saying right there, my friend. I don't think that is physically possible. The brewery's already told him that he can't get a job there because they couldn't afford to pay him and let him drink beer at the same time. Do I have any skirting around my trailer? No. And I get asked this a lot, and I get told by a lot of people that they should do it. But if you watch my earlier videos, when I was living in the motorhome over at Brother Will's place, I had hay bales all around the trailer to act as skirting, and then the snow fell on top of that. The floor was the coldest I have ever had a floor in my life. I do not believe that skirting is the right thing to do for a trailer in Alaska, especially since I'm not connected to plumbing or septic on this trailer, because I don't use either one of those in here. I drain water down the sink, and it's just dishwater. It goes out the back. But by having no skirting under the trailer, when the temperature comes up, I get that circulation around the trailer, and the floor warms up. If I had skirting and was blocking all that in under there, I'd have no way to heat underneath there still because I'm off grid. That floor stays cold. It never gets warm. So I won't do skirting under the trailer. There's no way. Thank you so much, Renice. I appreciate that. I really do. Forest roofing, flat insulation around your trailer. I could do foam. I could do blue foam, and that would make a big difference in the floor. But again, I really didn't plan on doing 3 winters in this trailer on the property. I planned on that cabin already being built. It just took a little longer. So I said, that's like, normally these other windows over here that you see open, normally would have blankets over them, but I didn't do that because I didn't plan on being here. And now I'm not doing it on purpose because it's an incentive to get done and get out of the trailer. Yep, exactly, Lindsay. Alaska MLS, fantastic site. If you want to buy land in Alaska, look there first. Be very, very careful for any land that says excellent moose habitat, because it's swamp. Don't buy it. If you 20-acre land with beautiful moose habitat, you don't want it. Also, if you're going to buy land in the state of Alaska, you need to see it in the spring. You need to see it as the snow is melting, because there's a lot of land that looks really, really firm in the middle of the summer, but in March, April, and May, it's a swamp. You can't get through it. And this piece of property is pretty darn dry. But yeah, definitely advice that everybody should have if they're going to buy land up here. Oh, is that what it is now, Lindsay? 12%? I knew it was at least 10. Nice. You will find that. You can still find that in some areas, but generally speaking, it's because they've raised the cost of the land. Not at your sale, but it's because they got the big chunk of land at one price, and then when they subdivided it, they thought I could sell it for this amount and carry the paper, and I'm going to make a ton of money when I'm done. And there's a lot of that up here still. I heard when you use heat tape, run straight in pipes or it can melt. I don't know. I don't use heat tape. I don't have the electricity to spare for any kind of external, any kind of heating whatsoever. So electrical for me has nothing to do with heating. It's just to power everything that I use as far as some lighting inside, and then all my recording equipment, hard drives for video editing and that kind of stuff. It does block the winds, but generally speaking up here, when we get the temperature increases, I want those winds. I want those winds to warm things up. But with that being said, right now, my trailer's pretty much skirted all the way around because of the snow. So the snow is already up over the edge of my trailer, over the bottom part of my trailer. So it's already locked in. Tinker, awesome. Merry Christmas. Glad you could pop in. Todd, for anybody else who was curious, this is the other third amigo in the crew here. I was talking about Todd earlier. Awesome, awesome, awesome guy. Those rafters and that roof would not have been on had it not been for Todd. You rock, dude. Hope you're having a great Christmas, man. I didn't come over for coffee this morning because you guys start too late for me. I'm up way too early. Great Lakes Reliance, welcome. Glad you could join us today. Awesome. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. The Vineyard Farmhouse, Merry Christmas to you. Awesome. First time in one of my lives. It is. Man, you've been talking to some neat people too, huh? I saw you had Mike from 50 Acres in a Cabin. Great, great guy. Karen asking, do I still have fish in the freezer? I don't. None. I didn't fish this year, Karen. I didn't catch one salmon this year. I did not even go to the river because I would have wanted to fish and then nothing would have happened. So no salmon for me. It is, Ward, getting warm today, and our forecast is warm temperatures all week. Tomorrow, almost 30 degrees. Oh, that's exciting. Oh, that's exciting. Yep. What Rune says right here, always walk the land you intend to buy. And if you can do it, walk it in different seasons. See what it looks like. See what access to it looks like in the winter. And then see what the land looks like in the spring when the thaw hits. And then, if you can look at it a third time, I'd look at it in the summer to see how it is once everything's dried out. Yeah. I don't know if I could, I couldn't do this with kids. This would be hard enough to do with a significant other. This would be almost impossible to do with a significant other. She would have to be extremely understanding. Suzanne from Suzanne's Sweet Kitchen, Merry Christmas to you. Glad you could pop in. Cat Mac, Merry Christmas. Glad you could pop in. Russell from Raspberry wonders about the cold and keeping chickens. Russell from Raspberry wonders about a lot of stuff. I was so mad because after I got done with pizza last night, I wasn't mad about that because I was over with Todd, Will, Barb, a bunch of people down at, like I said, over at Ruthie's house having pizza last night because we get together every Christmas Eve for pizza. And I get home and I'm watching, I think I was watching Oroville or Stargate on my phone. And I said, well, I wonder what's going on YouTube. And it was like almost 10 o'clock. And I looked and Russell went live and I missed it. I was like, oh, man, I would have loved to jump on live Christmas Eve with Russell. Mike McKinley. Merry Christmas, man. Glad to see you. You got 78-kilometer winds yesterday. Oh, we don't get the big winds usually here. And I have a lot of trees, so they break quite a bit of the winds. A lot of fun, 50 acres in a cabin. I have some other cool ones coming up in there. Very nice, very nice. Mike is he's just an awesome guy. I would, man. I would reach out. Definitely. I would. I've been following Mike, and if you want to see a guy who's pretty nerdy and pretty right on with cabin building and solar and electrical stuff, Mike from 50 Acres in a Cabin, super neat guy, super neat piece of property, and a super, super cool cabin. Soon, awesome. Merry Christmas. Normal temps that she said it was going to be 30 tomorrow. Normally we'd be at 0 or below, I think, right now. Right, Ward? I think that would normally be where we'd be. Well, show my brother Christmas without gift, not good. I got gifts for Christmas. Here, let me show you something. Because I had it this morning. And I said I was going to make it this morning too. So I have an Amazon wish list that, right, every YouTube creator probably has. But I have a lot of coffee on mine because I'm kind of a coffee hound and I make coffee in a French press. Chocolate raspberry, whole beans, ground it fresh this morning and made fresh coffee with that today. And it was freaking incredible, Paul. It was incredible. Matter of fact, that's what I'm sipping now. I'm still sipping some of that cold chocolate raspberry coffee. Ooh, Karen, you're getting me all excited now. 73 degrees today. See, if I could have any one temperature year round, it'd be 73 degrees. But as long as it got down to 45 at night, 73 for a high would be perfect. Maybe Mike should put his website on live chat so I can check them out. I wonder if I can't really do it in here. I'll be a little more organized next week. I'll have some links set up aside to drop some in there and show you some different channels that I think you guys would enjoy. Yeah, that's the bad part about this though too, right? When our temperature comes up, the road starts to get a little nasty. Jillian. Joe, where's Kaylin? Is she close by? Because today is Kaylin's birthday. Me. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Kaylin Montano. Happy birthday to you. Another year with Joe. Tell her I said Merry Christmas and Happy birthday. Super, super awesome. Joe's great people. I gotta watch the caffeine because I start bouncing off the walls. I gotta watch the caffeine because I will bing, 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 bing. Yeah, and then I'll get all fuzzy headed and everything else. Right, Genova? It's not something that I'm going to drink every day, but I said, you know what? Alan sent it, and I said, you know what? That's going to be my Christmas morning coffee right there, and it is delicious. This is the kind of coffee for me that I'm going to brew after dinner when I'm kicked back outside, and it's a nice, cooler evening, and it's late into the summer, maybe 11 o'clock, and the sun is still up high in the sky. And I'm going to sip that coffee next to a campfire. It's just yummy. Ward, I'm sipping a beer. I'd be shocked if you weren't, brother. I'd be shocked if you weren't. I've been watching part of that build of that shop. That's pretty darn cool. That's pretty darn neat. He got a sweet deal on that building, and I think it's pretty awesome what he's doing, what him and his wife are trying to do there. The Bank of Sarah. Sun is hitting my Christmas pajama footed onesie. I have the sliding glass door open. I listen to the quails eat. Ah, nice, cat. Nice. Genova says we are at a 36 degree Fahrenheit here in Ontario. It's minus 25 Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. Probably about 15 below zero. Mike, I know that minus 40 F and minus 40 C is where we match. So minus 40 is where we match. For us, 0, or for us, 32 is your 0. And the numbers kind of get closer as we get closer to that minus 40. So you're probably looking at, I don't know, minus 18, minus 20 right in there at the most. Nice, JD. Pouring a turkey. I'm going to pour me a bit of dew later on tonight, I think. Definitely. Okay. Yeah, I will be back next week. I will be back on New Year's Day. We'll do probably 2 hours again next week on New Year's Day. We're winding down now, though, so we got about 5 minutes left. If you guys got a question that's burning inside and you can't wait till next week, go ahead and ask it. If not, I'm just going to keep scrolling through and saying hi to everybody. Had a donation at Sean in Alaska. I don't know what that means, Lindsay. But if that means you donated, thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. My volume has gone off. Is it better now or not better now? 5.5 now? Okay, cool. Butternanda, awesome. Oh my God, that is so super cool. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Insulation. 70 degrees with 25 miles an hour wind in the Cebu. Wow, the Philippines, right? Nope, I'm jamming pretty quick, though. I think we got about 4 or 5 minutes left, and I'll probably be bailing out of here. Let you guys all get back to your Christmas, and let me get to my ribeye steak that I'm going to grill up for dinner tonight. Well, pan fry. It's a little chilly to grill tonight. I'm not going outside to grill. William, awesome to see you, my friend. Glad you can make it. Merry Christmas to you. Message delivered. Joe, did you get snow? because I know she wanted snow. She's like, I want more snow. I want more snow. She sent me a picture on Messenger chat after you got your first snow. She's all, I got snow. Okay, it's good now. Right on. Cool, Mike. Oh, oh my gosh. He did 2. Holy smokes. Thank you very much. That is awesome. That's one of the things I'm terrible about is knowing how this works, because I don't do this in the YouTube app. I do this in StreamYard. And I'm gonna have to set it up with 2 screens so I can keep an eye on both, because I see some that come through and some I don't. But Madhu, you are awesome. That is so awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I think I got them now, right? Did I? I think I got all of them now. Oh my God, dude. Really? Holy smokes. And that finishes the ceiling on the, or the insulation on the ceiling. Wow. Wow. I'm a bit blown away right now. Merry Christmas, man. Merry Christmas. Thank you very much. Wow. Yeah. Karen, great to see you live as well. We'll see you next week. Merry Christmas to you. Happy New Year's to you. I'll see you next week. Dude, you are incredible. You are incredible. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Super cool. Yeah. And I will see that on the 21st of January. And that will pay for all the rest of the installation for the entire place. That is awesome. Super cool. I will do it up nice, and we will be live next Sunday, and we will have an incredible start to the brand new year. I am going to put a video together that shows everything that I've done from May of this year all the way up to the end of the year, and I think that's going to be kind of fun. But I'm doing that more for myself than I'm doing that for you guys, because I can't believe what I've accomplished, and I think it's going to be really cool for other people to see it too. With that said, I have some of the most amazing viewers and subscribers of any channel that exists on YouTube today. I want to wish you guys all a super Merry Christmas, an incredible Happy New Year. And I'm going to sign out. I'm going to end this broadcast. Go spend the rest of the night with those that you love, your family, your friends. And may this day be fantastic for you. May the end of this year be incredible for you. And we will see you guys next year. I am Sean in Alaska, and I'm out.